Have you ever wanted to play as the brilliant, staff-wielding, techno-freaky, smartest of them all, purple-wearing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? Well, you're in luck, because this is D&D How to Play.
Who can concentrate with Raph exploding all the time?
Donatello. Now, before we jump into character creation, we have to set some criteria. As a member of the TMNT, you need to have tech for brains, a mastery of staffs, you need to be a ninja, and also a turtle. Let's start with our stats. I'm using the standard point array, but feel free to roll yours. Just keep your scores above the minimum multi-class prerequisites. Strength will be our lowest stat. Donatello is usually seen as the physically inferior turtle, and we don't really need it for anything. Dexterity will get our second highest score, you are a ninja after all. Constitution gets the lower middle stat of 12. Don can take a hit, but again, he isn't the toughest in the group. Intelligence will of course be our highest stat, it is a special trait after all. Wisdom is our higher middle stat, also known as 13. We need it for multi-class minimums, and ninjas have to be somewhat perceptive. Lastly, Charisma will be our second lowest stat. We don't really need it for anything, and the first thing someone thinks of when you mention Donatello isn't exactly how charismatic he is. Donatello is a human-sized turtle, that makes him a turtle. You get +2 strength, which gives us a regular modifier of 0. Additionally, you also get +1 wisdom, which rounds it out to a +2 modifier. Odd numbers are gross and disgusting, and we don't accept that kind around here. You also get claws, which makes our unarmed strikes a 1d4 plus strength in slashing damage, instead of the regular 1 plus strength bludgeoning. Hold breath lets us go an hour without breathing, and natural armor gives us a base AC of 17, as long as you aren't wearing armor. But shields do work. You can't increase this number with your dexterity modifier, but you can use shell defense to get an additional +4 AC, making your AC 21 from you withdrawing into your shell as an action. This also makes you go prone, you get a speed of 0, disadvantage on dexterity saves, you can take no reactions, and you can do nothing but emerge out again as a bonus action. But you do also get advantage on strength and constitution saving throws, which is nice. Last but not least, our amazing survival instincts give us survival proficiency. For our background, let's take Urchin. This gives us proficiency in sleight of hand, stealth, disguise kits, and thieves tools. But we get thieves tools proficiency at level 1, so we get to choose forgery kit instead. Our starting level will go to Artificer, which got officially released in Eberron rising from the last war. First we gain proficiency in Tinker's Tool and Thieves Tools, and choose 2 Artificer skills and 1 type of Artisan's Tools. Smith's Tools, Arcana, and History would be my picks. Our first feature is Magical Tinkering, which lets you spend an action to touch and give a tiny, non-magical object one of the following magical properties. Shed light in a small radius, utter a recorded message, continuously emit an odor or non-verbal sound, have a static visual appear on its surface like a picture, up to 25 words or anything you like of this sort. The property can last forever or until you make it end by touching it as an action. The amount of objects you can affect like this equals your intelligence modifier, and a single object can only have one property at a time. Unlike other half-casters like Ranger and Paladin, Artificers get spells on their first level. You can cast spells using Thieves Tools or any Artisan tools you're proficient with. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability, and the amount of Artificer spells available for you to cast equals your intelligence modifier plus half your wizard level rounded down. You also get cantrips, starting with Mending, which lets you repair a single break or tear in an object you touch, such as a broken chain link, 2 halves of a broken key, a torn cloak, or a leaking wineskin. This works only as long as the break or tear is no larger than 1 foot, but you can use this cantrip an endless amount of times, so you can in theory fix something bigger than 1 foot, as long as you have enough time. Message lets you whisper a message which only one target of your choice within 120 feet can mentally hear. They can reply with a whisper only you can hear. For now, we only get 2 first level spells. Detect Magic lets you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you, for up to 10 minutes, depending on your concentration. Identify lets you spend 1 minute touching a magic item or a magic imbued object. You learn its properties, how to use it, if it requires attunement, its possible charges, and what spells created or are affecting it. With these 2, you're able to find anything odd Krang might leave behind, and figure out what it is. For our next level, let's jump over to Monk. At first level, we get Unarmed Defense, which makes your AC equal to 10 plus your Dexterity modifier plus your Wisdom modifier. This is worse than our natural AC, so let's just ignore it and look at Martial Arts. It lets you use your Dexterity instead of Strength for the attack and damage rolls of your Unarmed Strike and Monk weapons, which includes a Quarterstaff. You can also roll a d4 instead of the regular damage of your Unarmed Strike. You could already roll a d4 using your claws, but that's with a strength modifier, while this monk unarmed strike is a d4 plus your dexterity modifier, which is much better. Additionally, when you use the attack action with an unarmed strike or a monk weapon on your turn, you can make one unarmed strike as a bonus action. For example, if you take the attack action and attack with a quarterstaff, you can also make an unarmed strike as a bonus action, assuming you haven't already taken a bonus action this turn. As a second level monk, we get key points. You have a number of key points dependent on your monk level, which lets you perform various key features. When you use a key point, it is unavailable until you finish a short or long rest. You know 3 key features. A Flurry of Blows, which lets you make 2 unarmed strike as a bonus action immediately after you take any attack action for the price of 1 key point. Patient Defense, which enables you to spend 1 key point to take the dodge action as a bonus action on your turn. Step of the Wind, which lets you spend 1 key point to take the disengage or dash action as a bonus action on your turn, and your jump distance is doubled for the turn. We also gain the Unarmed Movement feature, which increases your base speed by 10 feet as long as you aren't wearing armor or wielding a shield. As a level 3 monk, we unlock the Deflect Missiles, which lets you use your reaction to deflect or catch the missile when you are hit by a ranged weapon attack. When you do so, the damage you take from the attack is reduced by 1d10 plus your dexterity modifier plus your monk level. If you reduce the damage to 0, you can spend 1 key point to make a ranged attack with the weapon or piece of ammunition you just caught, as part of the same reaction. You make this attack with proficiency, regardless of your weapon proficiencies, and the missile counts as a monk weapon for the attack, which has a normal range of 20 feet and a long range of 60 feet. We also get to pick a monastic tradition. Path of the Kensei lets you choose 2 weapons to be your Kensei weapons, 1 melee and 1 ranged weapon. You gain proficiency with these weapons if you don't already have it, and they are monk weapons for you. The D&D equivalent of a bowstaff would be a quarterstaff, and darts would take the mantle of shurikens. You get 2 features, which only work with your Kensei weapons. Agile Parry lets you make an unarmed strike as part of the attack action on your turn, and if you're holding a Kensei weapon, you can use it to defend yourself if it is a melee weapon. You gain a +2 bonus to your AC until the start of your next turn, as long as your weapon stays in your hand and you aren't incapacitated. Kensei Shot enables you to use a bonus action to give your ranged Kensei weapon an extra 1d4 damage until the end of your current turn. You also get Way of the Brush, which gives you proficiency with calligrapher's supplies or painter supplies, your choice. 4th level monk lets us pick a feat. Keen Mind increases your intelligence score by 1. Additionally, you always know which way is north, you always know the number of hours left before the next sunrise or sunset, and you can accurately recall anything you have seen or heard within the past month. Donatello has an excellent memory, and this is the only way imaginable to explain how he can handle so much information. Additionally, Slow Fall lets you use your reaction when you fall to reduce any falling damage you take by an amount equal to 5 times your monk level, which will be 20, because spoiler, this is our last level in monk. Let's skip on back to 2nd level Artificer, where thanks to our keen increase in the intelligence stat and our 2nd level Artificer, we get to pick 2 more spells. Jump allows you to touch a creature to triple their jump distance for 1 minute. An Alarm lets you spend 1 minute to ward a door, window, or an area no larger than 20 feet. If someone you haven't designated as safe touches or enters the warded area within 8 hours, an alarm will be activated. You can choose for it to either be only mentally perceived by you, or be an audible sound for everyone. We wouldn't want any unwanted guests sneaking into our lair now, would we? We also obtain Infused Item. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can touch a non-magical object and imbue it with one of your artificial infusions. For now, you can only know 4 infusions and have 2 items infused at the same time. Let's take Enhanced Weapon, Returning Weapon, Replicate Magic Item Bag of Holding, and Replicate Magic Item Goggles of Night. Enhanced Weapon grants a simple or martial weapon a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with it. Put it on your quarterstaff to make it even more powerful. Returning Weapon grants a simple or martial weapon with a thrown property a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls with it. Additionally, it returns to the wielder's hand immediately after it is used to make a ranged attack. Some of your brothers have a tendency to throw around their weapons. Bag of Holding is larger on the inside than on the outside, and can hold onto a bunch more items than a regular bag could. Donnie tends to always have some sort of wacky items hidden away in his pockets. Wait, do these turtles even have any sort of pockets? Goggles of Night gives the wearer 60 feet dark vision. You live in a sewer and none of you have dark vision. A 3rd level Artificer always has the right tool for the job. You can magically produce any artisan's tools you want by using Tinker's tools for 1 uninterrupted hour. This can coincide with a short or long rest, and you can only have 1 of these tools existing at a time. We also get to choose what we specialize in. Artillerists gain proficiency in woodcarved tools and gain extra spells that are specific for this subclass. They don't count against the number of artificer spells you prepare, but you still need to use spell slots to use them. Shield enables you to use a reaction when you're hit by an attack or targeted by the magic missile spell, to gain a +5 bonus to your AC until the start of your next turn. This also includes the triggering attack, and you take no damage from Magic Missile. Thunder Wave forces all creatures in a 15-foot cube in front of you to make a Constitution saving throw, taking 2d8 thunder damage and being pushed 10 feet away from you on a fail. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage and isn't pushed. Lastly, artillerists get an Eldritch Cannon. As an action, you can use your wood carvers or smith's tools to magically create a small or tiny Eldritch Cannon. A small cannon occupies a space 5 feet from you, and a tiny cannon can be held in one hand. As long as you are within 60 feet of your cannon, you can use a bonus action to activate it, and additionally have it move up to 15 feet to an unoccupied space. You can choose between 3 options when you create your cannon. A flamethrower excels fire in a 15-foot cone, forcing creatures in that area to make a dexterity saving throw against your spell save DC, taking 2d8 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful save. A Force Ballista requires you to make a ranged spell attack, originating from the cannon, at one creature or object within 120 feet of it. On a hit, the target takes 2d8 force damage, and if the target is a creature, it is pushed up to 5 feet away from the cannon. A protector grants itself and each creature of your choice within 10 feet of it a number of temporary hit points equals to 1d8 plus your intelligence modifier. There is way more info and detail on how this works in Eberron, which I'd highly recommend reading up on, at least if you decide to play this class. At our 4th level of Artificer, we get to choose a feat. Polearm Master lets you, after you've taken the attack action with your quarterstaff, make another melee attack with the opposite end of your weapon as a bonus action. The base weapon damage die for this attack is a d4. Additionally, if you're wielding your quarterstaff while another creature enters your reach, it counts as provoking an opportunity attack. Alternatively, if your DM allows it, take the Staff Master feat, an unofficial feat on the D&D wiki. You increase your strength or dexterity score by 1, and the damage die in your quarterstaff goes from a 1d6 one-handed and a 1d8 two-handed to 1d8 one-handed and 1d10 two-handed. You can also, as a bonus action, give yourself advantage on an acrobatic or athletic check related to climbing, jumping, or otherwise bypassing obstacles, as long as you're wielding your quarterstaff. We also gain another spell from the Artificer spell list. Cure Wounds lets you put a band-aid on your brother's boo-boos, regaining a number of hit points equal to 1d8 plus your intelligence modifier. Let's bounce on over to Fighter and pick a fighting style. Great weapon fighting is a good choice, but I'd take Dueling, which gives you a +2 to damage roll of your quarterstaff, as long as you're wielding it in one hand and have no other weapons in your other. We also get Second Wind, which allows you to use a bonus action to regain hit points equal to 1d10 plus your fighter level. This can only be done once per short or long rest. Second level fighters get Action Surge, which lets you take one additional action once per short or long rest. At the 3rd level of fighter, we get to choose a martial archetype. The Brute archetype from Unearthed Arcana lets you deal an extra 1d4 damage whenever you hit with a weapon you are proficient with. This counts on things like your quarterstaff and unarmed strikes, but not your spells or Eldritch Cannons. At the 4th level of fighter, we'll finally take an ability score improvement. Raise your intelligence for better spells. We have few of them and have to maximize their usability. You can now also pick another spell from the Artificer spell list, but we're gonna hold on to that for now. 5th level fighter gives us extra attack, which enables you to attack twice instead of once whenever you take the attack action on your turn. 6th level fighters get another ability score improvement. Cap your intelligence and take the spot as the world's smartest turtle. Though that doesn't really say much. Once again, you can now pick another spell from the Artificer spell list, but just like earlier, we're gonna hold on to that for now. At level 7, our Brute archetype will give us Brutish durability. Whenever you make a saving throw, roll 1d6 and add a die to your saving throw total. If applying this bonus to a death saving throw increases the total to 20 or higher, you gain whatever benefits you would get from rolling a 20 on the d20. We get yet another ability score improvement at the 8th level of fighter. Now that we're done with intelligence, let's raise dexterity for better weapon damage and ninja skills. Let's bounce back over to Artificer and spend the rest of our levels here. At the 5th level of Artificer, we gain access to 2nd level spells, so now we can finally get those 2 spells we have been holding on for. Magic Weapon lets you, as a bonus action, touch a non-magical weapon, making it into a magic weapon with a +1 bonus to attack rolls and damage rolls. This can last up to 1 hour depending on your concentration. Aid allows you to choose up to 3 creatures within 30 feet. Their hit point maximum and current hit points increase by 5 for 8 hours. The fact that you have 3 brothers and this spell lets you choose 3 creatures is purely a happy coincidence. You also gain extra spells from being an artillerist. Scorching Ray lets you hurl 3 rays of fire at targets within 120 feet of you. You can hurl the rays at one target or several, but you must hit them with a ranged spell attack, dealing 2d6 fire damage on a hit. Shatter lets you force all creatures in a 10-foot radius, centered within 60 feet of you, to make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, they take 3d8 thunder damage, or half as much on a successful save. Additionally, we get the amazing feature called Arcane Firearm. When you finish your long rest, you can use your woodcarver's tools to craft sigils into your staff, turning it into an arcane firearm. Your quarterstaff now counts as a spell casting focus, and you gain a bonus 1d8 to the damage of 1 damage roll for the spells you cast with it. As a 6th level artificer, you get to add 2 more infusions you can know, and you can have 1 more active infusions. But first, switch out Enhanced Weapon with the straight upgrade Radiant Weapon. You get the same +1 bonus to attack and damage as Enhanced Weapon, but you also get to make your weapon shed bright light as a bonus action. Additionally, you can use a reaction immediately after being hit by an attack to expend 1 out of 4 charges and force a Constitution saving throw on the attacker. The save goes against your spell save DC, and if they fail the save, they are blinded until the end of their next turn. Your weapon regains 1d4 expended charges every day. For the 2 other infusions, let's take Cloak of Many Fashions and Ruby of the War Mage. Cloak of Many Fashions is a cloak whose wearer can change the style, color, and appearance of as a bonus action. Ruby of the War Mage enables any simple or martial weapon to be used as a spellcasting focus. Does one of your other brothers also use spells? Attach the ruby to the weapon and enjoy the brightening of their smile. We can also pick up another spell. Enhance ability lets you touch a creature and bestow upon it a magical enhancement, which can last up to 1 hour depending on your concentration. You can choose between Bear's Endurance, which gives advantage on Constitution checks and 2d6 temporary hit points. Bull Strength, which gives advantage on strength checks and their carrying capacity is doubled. Cat's Grace, which gives advantage on dexterity checks and they don't take falling damage from 20 feet or less. Eagle Speller gives advantage on charisma checks. Fox Cunning gives advantage on intelligence checks, and Owl's Wisdom gives advantage on wisdom checks. Finally, we get Tool Expertise, which means that whenever you make an ability check which uses your proficiency with a tool, the proficiency bonus is doubled. 7th level artificers unlock Flash of Genius. When you or another creature you can see within 30 feet of you make an ability check or saving throw, you can use your reaction to add your intelligence modifier to the roll. You can do this a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier per long rest. Our capstone will be as an 8th level artificer, which lets us pick up our last spell. See Invisibility grants you the ability to see invisible creatures and objects as if they were visible. Additionally, you can see into the ethereal plane, where everything appears ghostly and translucent. We see Donnie with some sort of scientific glasses or mask in multiple incarnations, and I bet they have some sort of infrared vision or are somehow able to let him see invisible beings. We also get our last ability score improvement, and let's use it to boost our dexterity score as much as possible. Now, let's look at the negatives and positives of this build. Firstly, for being just a quarterstaff, your weapon of choice does pretty good damage. A 1d6 plus 4 dexterity, plus 2 dueling fighting style, plus 1 radiant weapon, plus 1 magic weapon, and plus 1d4 from the brute subclass. This gives us an average of 13 magical damage per attack and a plus 12 attack bonus. Which isn't much, but you're able to hit multiple times around. Sadly, our health is not the best, giving you a decent check of over 100 if you roll well. But that's okay, because we are a difficult target to hit, with the Troll's base AC of 17, shield, jump, agile parry, plus 10 stealth and key movement. Unfortunately, we only have 4 key points per rest, making us very limited to how many key features we get to spend. However, that's no big matter, as Donnie is more of a support, with all of our support spells and items like Cure Wounds, Aid, Enhance Ability and Infusions. Though this leaves us quite lacking in the damaging spells department. We only get 3 spells that deal any actual damage, and they all come from our artillery subclass. But that shouldn't be any problem, as long as you stay in the backlines and help your teammates in any way you can think of. And if any enemies dare approach, just deter them with a couple turns of an all-out whacking. Thanks for watching. This video was heavily inspired by Tulak the Barbarian, who has 2 videos which showcases how to play Raphael and Leonardo. If you're also interested in knowing how you can play Michelangelo, I should also add that video on my channel, so go check it out if you haven't already. I might make more of these in the future, as I have a good bunch of characters I want to make in D&D, but for now, I wish you a good day.